everybody, it's Dee. I'm glad you're here, let's get into some things. I hope you're ready, cause this is what I do. It's all about different perspectives in here. Where you gon' get the real, no BS in here. We keep it real as we can. You can tell your truth and feel comfortable here. DeeDee's reactions, videos and live things. DeeDee's reactions, she's about to put on a show. These reactions, just to let you know, like, share, subscribe, we about to go live. It's DeeDee's reactions, keep it real, keep it DeeDee's reactions. What you gon' do? DeeDee's reactions, we about to go live. Subscribe, we about to go live. It's DeeDee's reactions. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
What up, YouTube? It's your girl, DeeDee. Welcome to another live stream. I hope you guys are doing well. Listen, I am back in the building. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Listen, as you come into the building, I know this is probably impromptu. I don't know. Hit the like button as you come into the building, you guys. I want to go through this verdict really quickly. As you come into the building, make sure you hit the like button, you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one. So as you guys probably already have heard, Carmelo Anthony was found guilty, you guys. He was found guilty. The verdict was just recently read. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip of that verdict. I want to get your thoughts on this because this has been a very controversial situation, y'all. There were very conflicting views on this whole situation, and I know a lot of people are going to have their opinions about it. So I want to get y'all thoughts. So as y'all come into the building, make sure you hit the like button, you guys, and let me know your thoughts in the comments or in the chat. Did you see this coming? Some people said he was going to get off. Some people were saying he's going to jail because it's murder. I want to know your thoughts on this. How do you feel about it? Let me know in the chat, you guys. Listen, as you come into the building, thumbs up the stream, thumbs up the stream. I definitely want to know your thoughts on this whole situation, y'all. I'm trying to let a few people get in here because I definitely want to know your thoughts on this whole verdict. So they didn't waste much time with this whole situation. It was like a open and shut case, in my opinion. It didn't take them long at all to come to a guilty verdict. But I want to know your thoughts on this one because this has been very controversial. And then I'm going to play what some people had to say about this whole situation. So definitely leave your thoughts in the chat. I want to hear what y'all got to say. But let's go ahead and get into the verdict, you guys. Here we go.
At any moment now, we're expecting to hear
guilty.
What the verdict is. Okay, what is it?
We have
go for it.
Guilty on murder.
Guilty on murder. Okay.
Guilty on murder.
There we go. I'm not sure if
that is the most severe. The most severe of the charges. Again, the options were murder, manslaughter, or acquittal. We have a conviction of murder, which is obviously more severe than manslaughter. This signals that we are going to go to sentencing. And again, the punishment range is 5 to 99 years. I'm going to step aside. We're going to look at the front. I know people up there were positioned to be first to get the word, but you're getting the word first since we have a direct connection to the courtroom. And I'm just kind of watching to see what kind of reaction we're going to get from them.
Yeah, Andrea, you're right, because I don't know that the folks that have gathered out there have found out completely, or if so, they're finding out now. There seems to be some movement out there now. Perhaps now they're finally getting word of this verdict. But if you're just joining us right now, Karmelo Anthony, 19 years of age, has been found guilty by a court of law, by a jury of his peers, for the charge of murder. For the charge of murder related to the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf, took place back in April of 2025 at a track meet in Frisco. And again, Andrea, it looks like folks are now, we're getting images here. Folks are just hearing this. We're seeing what appears to be 2 women crying on the ground right now.
Yep, you're definitely seeing the reaction to the word coming out. A lot of the people that you're seeing, I would say there are more people here who have been supporting Karmelo Anthony than the opposite. So you're seeing their reaction. I also saw somebody just run down the courthouse step, presumably to share the news of what they heard and saw. And you're starting to see people have started to relax a bit now. You're seeing some commotion, you're seeing movement, and security, again, positioned right there.
So that was the end of the clip, and of course you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more more responses from this verdict. Of course, some people aren't shocked. Honestly, I think it's unfortunate. I'm not shocked, to be honest with you. You hope for a better, situation, but I'm not shocked. It's Texas. I am not shocked. But I'm going to show some other cases in this live stream similar to this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. But I saw Blue X brought up the idea of that young man being chased down and then, killed, and people didn't seem to have a problem with that. And my thing is this: as far as this whole verdict coming out, that he's guilty. Some people were saying at minimum it should have been manslaughter, because this didn't seem to be an intentional situation, seeing as he did not approach anybody to intentionally conflict harm, right? So you would have thought at least manslaughter, because somebody did lose their life, but it wasn't, or just an acquittal, but it wasn't the case. And a lot of people aren't shocked behind it. Once they revealed that there was no black people on the jury, people took it from there and automatically assumed that because there was not a black person on the jury, that this was allegedly a setup, that they knew what was going to happen, especially because it's in Texas. And I don't know, it seems to be the case. And I know they're going to be conflicting, ideas or emotions behind this. But I mean, there are similar cases, as we pointed out, and as you guys pointed out, where you chase somebody down, and then that was a different state. So I don't know how they look at it, but at the same time, you have people who have been chased down, and taken out, and different results. So, of course, we're going to look at this, and of course, looking at the history of this country. And again, people don't want to bring race into it, but you have to bring it into it because it plays a major part. It definitely plays a major part, because we all have this idea as black people that if this was the opposite way around, they would have been claiming self-defense. We've seen cases where people have definitely been in the wrong and they claim self-defense, and sometimes they get off. There's really not too much to say about it. I'm not surprised by it. Do I agree with it? No, because there's enough evidence to show that this was self-defense. But because, once again, and I'm not saying that anybody deserved to lose their life. You know what I mean? A life is a life. I don't look at one lesser than the other. But once again, I'm a black person who's saying that. I don't think one life is better or more than the other. But does everybody feel like that? Because we've seen so many examples of similar incidents where there were different outcomes, and it was absolutely based on race. So if this is the verdict, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, you can bitch and moan about it, but there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is, and most of us aren't shocked behind it. Now, and this brings me to this Chud the Builder situation. So he's in jail right now, right, waiting his fate. If we're looking at all of this and it's not racially motivated and that has nothing to do with it, then he should do time in jail, because he's actually shot somebody, even though the man didn't die. This man, he approached this man, claimed self-defense, but shot this man several times. The man, thank God, didn't die. But then in that particular case, it should be an open and shut. He should go to jail. Am I right? Do y'all agree with that? But there are people who are defending Chud the Builder. So if you're looking at this and you're saying this has nothing to do with race, you're batshit crazy, in my opinion. It is absolutely about race, because then let's keep that same energy, and Chud the Builder should go to jail for whatever the time is, maximum time is, because he literally pulled out a gun. He brought a knife to a fist fight, right? He brought a gun to a fist fight. It was a fight. but he had a gun and actually shot this man several times. The man survived, so he should go to jail. He should be in jail and do the maximum time if we're gonna say, oh, because the argument with this was, oh, the guy pushed him, and it's unfortunate that man lost his life. That young man lost his life, but it's Austin Metcalf. It's unfortunate. I don't think he was a young man too, and I don't think he should have lost his life. But you got to think about this to actually see, and this is the problem that we have in this country. There are a group of people who feel entitled to approach black folks and they feel that they have some type of authority and some type of dominion over black people because of the history of this country. We need to start teaching people that you don't have any power over anybody, and you are not the police. You don't have control over people where you can just tell them what to do and they have to do it. That is the problem that we constantly see in this country, where these people feel entitled to tell black people what to do, and if you don't do it, then they gotta exert some type of authority or something over you. And as black people, we're supposed to just cower down and walk away and be the bigger people to say, oh, okay, massa. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We just got to listen to what you say. No, because that was the argument that a lot of people have been saying. Oh, he went under the tent. It was raining, him and his friend. And because these group of white boys come on and say, get the fuck out of here, y'all supposed to just jump and say, yes, sir, young massa, I'm going to leave, when that ain't, no, you gotta have some accountability, because now 2 people have lost their lives. That young man is no longer here, and this man is gonna probably go to jail. They're gonna probably throw the book at him. So 2 people lost their lives in a senseless situation. But when it comes to this country and the history of it, as black people, you always have to cower down to white folks. You always have to be the one to tuck your tail and run, and they could feel empowered to say, oh yeah, we got control over you. That is a problem that we see too often. And I think that is what needs to be addressed. And so that nobody loses in these situations, because, there is an issue of these people having entitlement, and that, an idea that they have control over you that you have to listen to them. And I think we have to stop that. I think that has to change. These people need to be held accountable. Anybody needs to be held accountable. If you are approaching folks who are not bothering you, they're not doing you. What's the purpose of having the laws and the police if people are going to take matters into their own hands because they feel entitled? If nobody is directly bothering you, they're not antagonizing you, they're not doing anything to you, what's the point of you feeling the need to always have control over black folks? And to me, all of this would have been avoided, and it's just my opinion. All of this, that young man would have been alive. This young man would not be facing jail time if they had never approached him and tried to forcibly make him leave an area that they did not own. You did not own that tent. It was not yours. What gave you the right to think that you could tell this person to leave? And if you're just standing there to get some rain, standing from under the rain, eventually he would have left. What was that doing to you? How was that bothering you? See, this is the part that they don't want to address. So in this situation, I think it sets a precedent that, hey, as a black person, you can't defend yourself because if it's not met with the same aggression. So if somebody approaches you and want to beat your ass, okay, if you're smaller, if you don't have, if they can, if you don't defend yourself, or you just got to walk away and be scared. But if you defend yourself, you got to defend yourself with the same equal, strength. So if they're bigger than you, if it's a group of them, they beat you down, which we've seen that happen before too. A group of them beat you up, you get beat up, get your nose broken, get everything messed up on you, then you just got to suffer that fate and then go take it to the courts and defend yourself after you've been jumped on. If that was, if that had happened, you can't defend yourself. You just got to let them do what they're going to do to you, and then, let the chips fall where they may, when they shouldn't be putting their hands on you in the first place. It's backwards, but it is what it is, y'all. I just think it's just crazy. It's all crazy. You know what I mean? But that's the verdict. That's what it is. There's nothing anybody can do about it. I wouldn't advise people go out here and, don't go out here and try to riot and do all that. You don't need to do all that. Well, for what? I mean, That's not going to make any sense. That's not going to help anything. Don't go out here acting a fool in the streets and doing all that. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. That's not going to help anything. It is what it is. Nighttime 1984 says, hey, Dee, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit the like button as you come into the building, y'all. Hit the like button. What's y'all thoughts on this? Thank you, Nighttime. I appreciate you. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says, I think the plot was a setup for him to be jumped. Maybe. I mean, when they talk about that video evidence of them coming around him, what's that for? Nobody, they don't want to accept that. It's like, oh, okay, you're just supposed to accept your fate. Let them beat you up or let them surround you and you don't feel threatened by that. Now, vice versa. If it was a bunch of black dudes surrounding a white person and ready to set them up, wouldn't they feel threatened? For sure they would feel threatened because they already look at black people as threats. Black people are already looked at as threats. We're already looked at as the aggressors, as the, this is what we do. And so you can't tell me that if 3-4 black men were surrounding one little, innocent white boy, that he wouldn't feel threatened and that he wouldn't feel like he had to protect himself if he had something. Now, if that was the case, that's the exact thing that they would argue in court. Oh my God, he felt threatened by these big black young guys who are defensive linemen, covers surrounding him, and they told him to move and he didn't want to move because he was supposed to be there or whatever, and they just jumped him or they pushed him. You couldn't tell me that they're not going to argue that was self-defense if that young man pulled something out to defend himself. You couldn't, without I believe that for sure they would have argued self-defense and probably would have won. Because automatically these 4 black guys or 2 or however many are aggressive. They were aggressive. They could argue all of that. But when it comes to a white person, it's unfortunate this happened. Somehow it's looked at differently. But who's shocked? Thank you, Successful MD. Nobody is shocked. It's not a shocker. It's really not. I mean, it sounds about white. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think, once again, 2 young men lost their lives. And that's the bigger picture in all of this. That young man lost his life. This one lost his life because now he's going to jail. I guess maybe they could, I don't know what they could do in a situation. Can they, thank you, Successful MD, I appreciate you. Can they contest the verdict? I don't know. They're going to, now it's, the sentencing. It's just unfortunate. And I said this from the beginning, that all of this could have been avoided. Friends from rival schools talk all the time, and people want to play crazy now. Karmelo should have never had the knife on school grounds. What his school could have a tent for him. Make it plain. Karmelo didn't receive scratches and bruises from raindrops. And then that's another thing too. They did say he had scratches and bruises on him. How did he get that? All of that they didn't even look at it. There's a lot going on. There was a lot going on with this case from the beginning. I saw a fellow YouTuber who covers cases and stuff, Neek at Night. Shout out to Neek at Night. I've been watching her for years. She was in Texas covering this case. They had her crying out there, and I'm pretty sure she was getting some backlash. I'm pretty sure there was some unsightly things told to her because people want to act like racism doesn't exist in this country, but there are definitely racist people out here. Now, she's just out there covering a case as a black woman, and she was met with probably with some racist stuff. And, it's unfortunate as to why people can't just stick to the case and not, bring that up on other people when people are out here just covering a case just like anybody else. But that goes to show you racism is alive and well. And anytime something happens that these people don't agree with, it comes out. Instead of just sticking to that, the true nature comes out. Why do you have to start calling, out other people just because they're covering the case, just because you don't agree? Now, it is what it is. He's been found guilty. Move on. But once again, it's not shocking. It's not shocking, y'all. David, thank you for the super chat. Says you have to protect yourself in this country. You have to protect yourself. But now you got to worry about protecting yourself because if you do, when you don't, when you are met with this, you have no idea how you're going to respond to somebody threatening you or approaching you in a violent manner. You have no idea how you're going to protect yourself. You just know you got to protect yourself at all costs. But now you just gotta wait to see what a stranger's intentions are gonna be, or let them do something to you and just stand back because if you defend yourself, you might go to jail. That is crazy to me, y'all. That's what this is. This is what that's saying. You know, and it has everything to do with race. Because guess what? People are saying, I see black people saying, oh, black people won't bring up the race thing. Well, it's not just black people bringing up the race card. It's white folks too. It's other people bringing that up too. Because if this was two black men, you wouldn't hear too many white people talking about it. It wouldn't even be as controversial. And that's on both sides. You think white people would care about two black people killing each other? They don't. They'll be like, oh, that's what they do. The usual suspects. That's what they do. That's what they say. So they don't care either. They wouldn't have cared if it's another black person doing this to another black person. They don't care. The real factor in all of this has absolutely everything to do with race. Because it was a white young, thriving young man that this shouldn't be happening, and how dare a black person get off from defending himself from a white person. Come on, it is not new. This is not new. Thank you, David. I appreciate you. So once again, Sandra, what's going on? Sandra Faye said Matt Walsh was the first person to bring race into it. I mean, it has everything to do about race. And sometimes people be trying to act like that isn't the case, but it is. Because once again, they think, oh, black on black crime. That's all talking about, oh, you guys do this to each other, but you don't talk about them doing it to each other as well. Like as if there's no white on white crime. It's insane to me. But once again, what else do you expect? This country is built upon racism. This is built upon this. You know, it's nothing new. It's just a new day and age. It's 2026, and these issues are still happening. So it's nothing new. I was not surprised. The judge didn't allow the media for a reason, right? Exactly. And then there's other things out here where they're saying that the judge was friends with the victim's father. I don't know if that's true, but these are the things that are floating around. What's going on, Armand? How are you? Thank you, Successful MD. I just think, once again, I'm not surprised. I wasn't sure what the verdict was going to be, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But once again, let's watch this Chud the Builder situation, because they got him in jail for actually shooting somebody several times. The person survived though. So is he going to jail if he get off? And there are actual people out here, black and white, who are defending this behavior, but y'all won't defend this behavior. You won't defend the black young man who who appears to allegedly have been defending himself, but he goes to jail, murder, not even manslaughter. It's not like it wasn't intentional. He didn't go out there to just hurt somebody. That's not what it seemed to have been. But he gets the full gambit of it. But, let's see if there's leniency on the other side, which we have seen. So, there's a lot going out here about all of these people. There's a lot of speculation, some outright lies, and some other stuff. But once again, I'm not surprised. I want to make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. But this is not a shocker. It's not a shocker. It's really not. Not shocked at all. And right after the Asian man was found innocent for deleting a 14-year-old younger brother. 14-year-old young brother. Right. It's like, come on. But that's defended too. You got black people out here defending that. You're defending, he might have stole some water out the store, so he deserves to die at 14 years old. What if that was your son? You don't know. You have a son. You don't know what your son is doing. You at work, your son decide, I might steal some water, and then he run out the store, and then they chase him and shoot him down, like an animal. And you gonna be okay with that? Probably not. So people be talking out the back of their throat when it doesn't, because it doesn't directly affect them. Like, now I don't condone you going in the store doing stupid shit. Don't go in the store stealing, because you don't know what somebody might do. So you have to be smart and wise to not go out here doing crazy stuff too now. Now, I have to say, that's where the accountability lies. But if I can say as a black woman, look, you need to be accountable for yourself. Don't go out here committing crimes. Don't go out here stealing. Don't go out here doing all these crazy things. And hopefully you won't, subject yourself to this type of behavior. But we also know that there are people who have not been doing anything wrong. Just walking while black, shopping while black, driving while black, and still get deleted, get, taken out of here, and didn't do anything wrong. So if you know that this could be an issue, just you're a suspect just because of the color of your skin, then you know if you are doing something crazy, you stand even less of a chance. So why would you even do that, knowing the history of this country, knowing that you are already looked at as a suspect because you're black, knowing that you're already looked at as a threat? Why would you even do something more? Because if you didn't do something and you know, and you are right and you protect yourself in a way, you can challenge it in court, you could sue, you could do things like that. But if you're out here knowing that you're being black is already a threat to society, why would you go out here and steal and do things like that? Put yourself in harm's way. But because you already know that the system is not on your side and it's never been. And it might be, you know, the luck of the draw if they look at you as a human and say, oh my God, and look at it and judge it the way by the law, strictly by that and not by the color of your skin. You gotta hope and pray that they see you as a human being and not just the color of your skin. So once again, people made it about race, and so you can't say, oh, don't make it, because it absolutely is. When we see cases compared to this that come out differently depending on the color of your skin, it's just insane to me, y'all. It's just crazy, but you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't think people should be running out and protesting and all of that. I don't think you should be doing any of that. And because of the verdict, it is what it is. You know, you can have your opinion about it and your thoughts about it, but it is what it is. You can't, there's nothing we can do. You know, so, and Blue X, I agree. I think it does seem to be that. Two laws, two systems. The laws, in my opinion, my little humble opinion, the laws weren't made to protect us. Let's be clear. The laws weren't made to protect us. The laws were made to protect them from themselves. You know, they put laws in place that they can benefit from. It's not for us. Why would you make laws to protect us? The laws weren't made to protect us. It's just because we're here, you know, and the laws are in place, you would think we should be able to use them because it's supposed to be for everybody. It's not supposed to be just for specific people. But this is why that's why there's different outcomes. This is why, you know, same crimes committed by, you know, a black person and a white person, the black person get a higher sentence for the same crime. This is why there are different outcomes for similar crimes depending on your race, because it was never meant for you to benefit from the laws they put in place so that they can benefit from. Whitney, thank you for the super chat, says the 14-year-old didn't steal anything. The video footage showed that, so he was shot for no reason. It's sad. Thank you, Whitney. I appreciate that. Yeah. And so it did show whatever he was doing, he put it back, and then he stood there, but they chased him down. That should have not been a not guilty verdict. You went behind him like you were the authority and chased him down. Even if he had taken a water, you think that meant that he needed to be shot down like that? A 14-year-old child? You don't give a damn about a black child's life or a black person's life. That's what that shows. But let a black person do that to them, to their child, chase them down, hunt them down, and shoot them. All hell gonna break loose. Oh my God, you chase them. And then they see the logic when it's them, but they don't see it when it's us. But once again, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It's just we're seeing more of it now, and it seems like the rules only apply to certain folks. Once again, if it was 3 or 4 black boys surrounding a white kid and bullying him and forcing him to leave something, they would argue exactly what I'm saying. He didn't have to leave. You don't own it. Who gives you the right to tell him to leave and then put your hands on him? They would argue that exact same thing. It's like you see it when it's one of yours, because there's this separatism. There's this you see humanity in your folks, but you don't see it in anybody else. When we all have the same, we bleed the same. We're all human beings. This is why I say race in this country, you know, racism is a curse. It is not a good thing. It's never have been. And when you don't have logic to human beings, and this is not everybody. I said this on the other live. I know a lot. Me and my husband, we know a lot of good white people. Every white person is not racist. Every white person is not like this, because we know them, and they don't agree with this foolishness either. But the ones who are, you see how they speak, how they talk, and you could see it. They don't care. They don't care about anybody instigating a situation. But when it's done to them, then they care. If somebody instigates or bullies them or does things to them, then they see the logic in it. Once again, you don't see the logic when it's a black person because you don't care. You don't care about those people who think like that don't care. And I think that's a major problem, Thank you, Whitney. I appreciate you. And I think that is a problem. And this is, and once again, like I said before, we are always met with, oh, why are you here? Go back to, no, we don't have nowhere to go back to. This is where we're from. Why we always have to run from the antagonist? Why can't the antagonist learn how to behave and stop being racist toward people who ain't did shit to them? If somebody did something to you, I certainly understand you having a certain idea about them and feeling a certain type of way. But if nobody did anything to you, why is that the narrative? You know what I mean? You just racist because you don't like black people and you were taught to be that way. And this country is based upon that. But they hate to admit that is the issue. It has nothing to do with race, but we see two different outcomes. We see two very different experiences. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, this is crazy. Once again, y'all, I wasn't surprised, but I want to pull up because Charleston White spoke out on this, y'all. Charleston White spoke out about this, but he had a change of heart, and he, in his opinion, thought that this young man would get off because he said he spoke with the parent, but that is not the case. He's been charged with murder, and now we got to wait for the sentencing. But I want to play a little bit of what Charleston White had to say on this situation. I want to get your thoughts. So make sure you chime in the comments below. And then I want to show a story similar to this. And I want to get your thoughts on that. But listen to this. Here we go.
So let me just say this, since I said that. I want to take the time to apologize to Karmelo Anthony's family.
Hold on.
Man, all the way.
Let's see.
So let me just say this. Since I said that, I want to take the time to apologize to Karmelo Anthony's family. Man, I was all the way wrong about that kid. I was all the way wrong about that kid, homie.
Yeah, he was just indicted.
I was all the way wrong about that kid. I met with his father. I've been meeting with his father regularly. I had opportunity to talk, piece him up. He go beat these charges. I was under the impression that he brought a knife to school. So I was take a knife to school, fuck him. He did take a knife to school. He didn't even know these two white boys. These two white boys just came over there with him because he was with another kid that knew those white boys. So he a new black kid who these big old white boys, big white boys. He a small frame kid. One of the white boys was on that side, one of the white boys on that side. So either way go, they had him blocked in. And these some big white boys. These are some big, violent, aggressive white boys who got guns. And not only that, the one he killed whooped their daddy. See, the daddy coming into the picture playing like he been around. The daddy ain't been around. We would think the black dad ain't around. The white dad ain't around. The mother don't even identify the daddy as the husband. So he must have been an abusive father. He ain't even been in their life. So he just coming and getting the light. He just coming and getting the light. So he a low down dirty cracker. His sons are bullies. They bullying on the kid. They no, because he black. Get from up under the tent. Man, y'all train going nowhere. And they got a reputation of beating up people. The one he had to stab, he broke his daddy's ligaments. Big old strong cracker. He should have killed both of them. He should have killed both them Peckerwoods. With a nigga that's minding his motherfucking business, that don't bring harm to nobody. This kid ain't a bad kid. These bully white boys just fuck with the black baby. So now they trying to make it about race. No, it ain't about race. Justice was served when he killed that cracker. Self-defense. And the reason I say that is, anybody can go see the video. Why do you think the media outlets ain't promoting to go see this video? You can go up to the school to see it. And if you go up to the school to see it, we all see this kid will be found not guilty. But because it's in an all-white town in Crackerville, and they done made it about race, whoever Sarah Fields is, Sarah Fields, you a rotten motherfucker. And if I just had some time, I would put an army behind this family, but I ain't got time. It's supposed to be an army because Sarah Fields and the father and somebody who works for the court have been releasing Karmelo Anthony's family information to Sarah Fields. She's been putting it online, and the white folk been going, so they've been having to move. All those lies made up, homie, they can't even get the GoFundMe money. The go, so they hadn't even got, they can't even touch the goal. So they just trying to smear a campaign. But that's what the cracker do. Boy, I wish I can go back to when I was saying the type of shit. Boy, I wish they could have caught me 3 years ago when I was really on my let's go get the cracker shit. But homie, I wish I ain't got that spirit no more. So I'm saying, why black people ain't rallying around this family as they tried to rally around in the beginning? They are threatening this family. Homie, they keep having to move.
But how do you don't just lose the spirit, bro? It's either you got it or you don't.
No, you do lose it. You do lose it.
So you sold out?
No. You lose it. Everybody loses. Malcolm lost it, homie.
Like what you told me a year ago, you said that losing touch with reality.
You lose the spirit, homie. You lose you lose the spirit of the things you once loved. Football players, artists. Dave Chappelle lost the spirit. Went to Africa, man, fuck that. You lose the spirit because you fight for a group of people that you shouldn't really be fighting for. Who want to make the sacrifice for black people?
So what's your thoughts on what Charleston had to say? Let me know in the chat. Leave your thoughts on that. He said he had been talking to Karmelo's father, and I guess getting some insight. But what's your thoughts on what he had to say? I saw someone say he just be saying a lot of saying whatever. But what's your thoughts on it? But Rack9, thank you for the super chat, says, man, this ish is going to start a civil war, shaking my damn head. I don't think it will, because there's been lots of cases like this, and nobody really... You know, it blows over. We've seen a lot. If you could just go and Google a lot of these types of situations that have occurred, and we haven't had that yet. I mean, I think some would like to see something like that happen, but I don't know, Rack9. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat, and shout out to Walter. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Walter. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Yeah, I appreciate you, Rack9. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, this is always controversial when it's a situation dealing with white and black. I mean, this is nothing new. This is all I'm saying. I'm just like, okay. So my thing is, if you know, and I will say, you know, maybe once again we don't know the full ins and outs. You know, we can say, oh well, Karmelo should not have brought the knife to the school, right? So if he hadn't brought the knife to the school, and those guys still approached him, they still approached him. No matter if you say, oh, they just shoved him, they still put their hands on him. Like, why? What is the fascination? That's all I'm saying. What is the fascination? That's like me going out to the store with my kids, and some white woman come up to me and just shove me. So as a grown woman, what should I do in that situation? Y'all let me know. What should I do? So I'm with my kids, minding my business in the grocery store, right? Like I always would do. Minding my business, smiling at people, doing my thing. I ain't bothering nobody. I ain't telling you nothing. I'm not an argumentative person. So I don't just go start shit with people. So I'm minding my business, and somebody just walk up to me, and because you don't like how I look, you whatever, or you racist, or whatever the case might be, and a white chick just walk up to me and pushes me. What should I do in that case? What should I just say? Oh my God, she just pushed me for no reason, and stand there and look stupid? What should I do? Tell me, what should I do? Should I just stand there and say, oh my God, should I go get security? She's gonna push me, walk off, and go get in her car and leave as an entitled white person. What should I do? Just stand there and go get the security and say, oh, this white woman pushed me. You know, there's been instances that's happened like that. The people look at you like, what's the problem? Like, she just pushed you and that's it? No, that's a violation of my human being. I didn't do her shit. I didn't tell her nothing. She just walks up, but people will argue, oh, well, that'll never happen. Shit, yes, the hell it would. And it has. That people have literally experienced that. So what should you do in that case? Should you just go tell the security that interrupts your day? How do you feel about somebody violating you in that way because they feel they can and nobody else cares, and everybody else diminish it and says, oh, she just pushed you. Oh, don't you worry about that. What type of message is that sending to the people who are able to do that? What type of message is that sending to the people who have the audacity and the the gall to feel empowered, or, you know, as if they could just do anything, if they could just push you and walk off and get away with it. Don't you think that that's sending a negative message to those people to where they feel entitled, that they could do anything to you and nobody says nothing? And you as the black person have to be in a position to always feel coward, like, oh, you shouldn't respond, or you shouldn't say anything or do anything. Oh, you need to follow the proper whatever protocols, but that person doesn't. That person don't have to follow no protocol. They could just put hands on you, slap you, whatever, and you, as would be the victim in this, as a black victim, should just take oh my God, she just slapped me. Oh my God, and you got to do that and act surprised, and just, you know, and she gets to walk off feeling high and mighty, like I have a right to do that for no reason. Nobody's touched you. Nobody did shit to you, but they have the right to do that to you. You're supposed to take the proper protocol, and that person gets no accountability, you know? So that's, as a black person, that's what you're supposed to do. Or if I go back, because even you see it happening as a black person, and I'm not trying to harp on the black thing, but I'm saying I've seen it happen, and I just can't sit here and act like I haven't. You know what I'm saying? When I'm the person who never really likes to use the race thing, because I think it's ridiculous. People are people. I don't look at you as a white or black victim. I look at you as a victim. If somebody did you something, you're the victim. I don't care about all of that. But I don't care about it, but it doesn't matter when everybody else does. You see? I could be like, look, I don't care. I say it all the time. I don't care if you blue, black, green, purple. I look at it all as equal. Like, look, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. I don't care what color you are. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter if I don't look at it in a racial way. Other people will. And that's the problem. And so I just think that it's sending a signal that you can't defend yourself. Even if somebody puts hands on you and you go back and put hands on them, you're gonna be looked at as what are you doing? Like, and it's almost like people turn a blind eye to that. You don't see that, oh, this person slapped me first. We see it all the time. So I just think it's a problem, y'all, and it's always been a problem, you know. David, thank you for the super chat. Says it was not a good thing to integrate with them folks. We need to segregate. There are a lot of people who agree with you, David. A lot of people who agree with you for sure. But yeah, it's just crazy. Thank you once again for the super chat, you guys. Make sure you are hitting the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Latrell M, thank you for the super chat. Says shout out to Queen DeeDee. Thank you, Latrell. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. But yeah, this was crazy, y'all. The George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin situation was way bigger. Casey Anthony deleted her own kid over a party and not guilty. You know, it's a lot of situations we could point to. So, you know, and it just points to, once again, white is right. They can do what they want. And you got to really you got to be beat down, swollen, beat up, bruised and tattered. You know, you really got to be the victim. You can't defend yourself. You really got to let them just fuck you up. I'm sorry, y'all, for lack of a better term. You just really got to let them just fuck you up. And then when you coming into court with a bruised eye, black head, broken legs and all that, and then for them to really see some humanity to say, oh my God, they fucked him up, so we have no choice but to rule against them, you know. And then who knows, you still might be looked at as the victim, the villain. You know, I'm just saying, like, it's just crazy. Thank you, Latrell. It don't make sense to me, y'all. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know, it makes sense to some. Successor MD says, DeeDee, show what the white woman did at grad day. What white woman? I don't know that. I don't know what you're talking about. What white woman? Show what you say a white woman did at the grad day. What white woman? I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, that's crazy. You should be allowed. I mean, you should be allowed to defend yourself, and how you have to defend yourself depends on the situation. Which brings me to this, and I'm gonna pull up the video. Let me pull up this video first. Thank you, Successful MD. What white lady? I don't be knowing everything, y'all. Y'all gotta send it to me if y'all want me to know what you're talking about. I don't see everything. But thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. I appreciate you. Let me pull up this video real quick. I thought I pulled it up. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me see. And this is of a situation that happened a while back, but I just wanted to kind of, I want you to look at it, and it's very similar to the Karmelo Anthony situation as well. Where the hell? Oh, here we go. So I'm gonna just pull this up. Give me a second. But before I pull that up, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, y'all. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, you guys. Please hit the like button, y'all. Oh Lordy, my posture is bad. We got about 182 people watching and 107 likes. Hit the like button, y'all. I want to share my screen for a second. And so I just Googled this. Can you protect yourself with a knife? Because people were saying, oh, you shouldn't have brought the knife. Some people were saying the knife was illegal. Many people, we know in Texas, the type of knife that he had was not considered illegal. It was not considered illegal. But I wanted to pull this up because I wanted to know, and I just asked, can you protect yourself with a knife, right? And so it says, yes, you can legally use a knife in self-defense, but only in specific life-threatening situations where the use of deadly force is justifiable. So the use of deadly force would have to be justifiable, right? And so it basically means, I guess, if somebody else had a knife or had a weapon coming towards you where they could, threaten you in a deadly way, then it's in most cases it's justifiable to have a knife. It says, in the eyes of the law, a knife is classified as a deadly weapon for sure. Therefore, you can only use it if you are in imminent fear of death, or great bodily harm, right? So to claim self-defense in court, you must generally prove that, right? So you have to prove you were not the aggressor. You did not start or escalate the conflict, right? You did not start or escalate the conflict. You had no safe avenue of retreat, right? You must have exhausted all reasonable attempts to escape or de-escalate the situation, except in states with specific stand your ground laws, right? The force was proportional. The threat against you must be severe enough that it requires legal force to stop. So using a knife for protection comes with severe risk that can lead to criminal charges or civil lawsuits, they do tell you. So basically, if you didn't start or escalate, you got to prove that. Some would argue that in this Karmelo Metcalf situation, he didn't start it because he didn't approach anybody. If they had never approached him, he would not be going to jail and he would be alive. If they hadn't put his hands on him first, which seems to have started it from all accounts, none of this would have happened, right? If some claim that there were 4 people, it wasn't just Metcalf, it was him, his brother, and 2 others. They claim on the video that they surrounded him. That's what they claim. That's what they're claiming. If that was actually the case, because we weren't privy to the video. If that was the case, then he could have, in his mind, yes, he's being surrounded. That is, and he's a smaller guy. They brought that up, that he was smaller. These were bigger guys, much bigger than him. He was smaller. So that could have been a threat to him. They could have easily harmed him in a bodily fashion. If they all jumped him and beat him up, then that's definitely bodily harm. If he felt attacked and over, more than one person, it wasn't a fair fight, then, that could have definitely leaned more toward self-defense, but that's not how they see it. If we switched around, and this was a young white boy who was surrounded once again by 4 black, it would have definitely been self-defense, in my opinion. So, that's what it says. Mauricio91, thank you for the super chat, says, if you believe racism is holding you back in life, then I've got a bridge to sell you. I don't think most people are saying that. At least I'm not. I don't think race holds you back, but racism exists. I mean, come on. There are people who experience it on a daily basis. No, racism doesn't hold you back, but it definitely plays a part in life. And this country is based upon that. And I think if people are in denial about that, then I got 3 bridges I can sell you, because it definitely exists. And I can give you many examples of it right now. So no, I don't think it holds you back, but there are definitely situations that black people and others have had, not just black people, other people of color have had the experience and deal with, that involves race. So no, it doesn't necessarily hold you back, but it's definitely in the way for sure. So thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. We're not talking about anything holding you back. No, but it's definitely obstacles that you have to cross, depending on the people who are, imposing their racist views on you, depending on who they are, depending on the power that they have, depending on if they want to do that or not. So yeah, it is at their discretion, and you have to definitely fight it if it's happening to you. And we can't ignore the fact that this country is based off of racism and prejudices. That's why we had to fight against it. So no, I'm not saying in 2026 that you can't live a thriving, fulfilled lifestyle and be and achieve things, because black people and others and other people of color have definitely had to push and forge ahead against those the racism and the prejudice that this country is built upon. So if that was the case, no black people, we would have no black successful people and no people of color who are successful. So that's not the point. That point is irrelevant. That's never what I say over here, that you can't thrive, because we have many examples of it. The very things that the fact that we're able to have the freedom of speech and able to talk about these things and actually benefit from all of this shows you right there. So it's not a question of whether whether we're being held back. No, but there are things that are put in systematic racism that exists that are put in place to hold you back. But a lot of people have pushed and forged ahead in spite of it. Not that it stops you, but it definitely is put in there to try to hinder you. That's what this country is based upon. So yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I just wanted to pull this up to just show how you could use a weapon in general to defend yourself. And from what this is saying, I mean, this seems to me that what was happening in this case, but others, I guess, saw it differently. You know what I'm saying? And typically, it would hold up, but in cases when it's us against, when it's look like there's a divide between white and black, it doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for the super chat, Mauricio. I appreciate you. Rack9 says, this reminds me of the Emmett Till case where it was also an all-white juror, especially, and then in that time too, nobody was expecting a fair trial. Nobody was going to be fair, with the whole racist, everybody racist, they didn't care that was a child. So that, when we look back to all of these cases and in the history, come on, this is why I say I wasn't surprised. I was just hoping, they would be fair. You know what I'm saying? But how can you expect fairness, in these situations? You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Once again, like I said, I don't think people should be out here protesting and doing all that, because that ain't gonna do nothing. They already made their decision. Thank you, Rack9. I appreciate you. They already made their decision, and there's nothing nobody can do about it. All I can tell you to do is protect yourself. Watch the company you keep. And it doesn't matter what color you are. Once again, you can be, there's dangerous people who are black. There are dangerous people who are white. There are dangerous people who of any race or group. Protect yourself. That's all. That's why I tell my children, protect yourself. Don't go watch the company you keep. Don't trust anybody, because you can't. Divine Photos, thank you for the super chat, says the deck was stacked against Karmelo from the jump. White judge, white jurors, white America, and O.J. Simpson got away with it, and they've been mad ever since, baby. Thank you, Divine Photos. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for the support. This is Blue X. Thank you for the super chat. Says, this is why we need a true Black American hate crime bill. Right. And I think that would help to have something, so people just don't feel they could do anything. You know what I'm saying? Once again, and I'm just like, look, if you can't do the basic, there are a lot of white people who pride themselves on being able to protect themselves, to being able to have the right to bear arms. Why do you think that is? For their protection. They also, love the fact that they can protect their home, their families, and their environments. That if somebody comes and try to violate that they have every right to bear arms and defend themselves. It doesn't always mean so that if a person comes to try to rob you and rob your household and they don't have a gun, I'm not saying just try to break in your house and steal from you. They don't have a gun typically. Everybody that breaks into somebody's house doesn't have a gun. But if they come and try to do that and you do, then you have a right to defend your home and your family and your environment, right, with that gun. So it's not like gun tit for tat, gun for gun, knife for knife. No. People try to violate you and do things, and you have a right to protect yourself. And a lot of these good old boys, good American citizens pride themselves on being able to do that. This is why a lot of them walk around strapped. They walk around with guns all the time because they can. And they can, but if you as a black person have a gun, somehow it's like, oh my God, I don't know if you guys have seen situations where you have had black people who walk around, who have a license to carry, who have permits, have to open carry, and they pull out the cavalry when they see a black man walking the streets with a gun. Oh my God, they look shocked, like, shit, the blacks are getting guns now. It's like they get scared as shit. But when these white boys walk around with these open carry guns, it's like, oh, you got your permit, you got your this. Oh, okay, all right. But they see a nigga, I'm just saying, with open carry. Oh my God, let's go grab him up. What are you doing with that? Like, it's like they get scared. But see, that's what I'm saying. The same laws, are looked at suspiciously when you do it as a black, but what they do is okay because it's for them. But when you take advantage of those laws, it's like, oh snap. We got to throw him on the ground. And yeah, he got a license to carry, but shit, we don't know where this gun come from. We don't know if it's really not for us, in my opinion. Blue X says, this is why we need a true black American hate crime bill. Thank you, Blue X. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's just crazy. Listen, I want to pull up this case. Thank you, Blue X, once again. This case was in 2020. This was a while back. This guy, let me just play it. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Listen to this.
And I just want him home. He doesn't deserve to be in there.
21-year-old William Marcus Wilson has been in a Georgia jail since mid-June. He faces charges of felony murder and aggravated assault for the shooting death of a teenager. His family doesn't deny that he pulled the trigger, but his sister Chelsea Burnett says there's more the system should consider.
He was truly scared for his entire life.
She says her brother feared for his life when he opened fire on a truck of white teens the morning of June 14th. The car's driver was allegedly trying to run Wilson's car off the road, while others yelled racist slurs, according to his sister.
He had a right to stand his ground. He felt like his life was threatened, and I 100% believe that.
A gunshot killed 17-year-old Haley Hutchinson, a passenger in the truck. Burnett questions why her brother, who is biracial, is accused of murder despite his self-defense claims.
If he were white and his skin showed that he was fully white, he would not have ever been put in handcuffs.
It's a case drawing attention to the small town of Statesboro, Georgia, and bringing scrutiny from civil rights groups over who stand your ground laws protect.
We see tons of instances where stand your ground applies to the accused. And Mark Wilson's case does not appear to be one of them. And it appears to be based off of his race, and it's wrong.
Georgia is one of 27 states with stand your ground laws that approve the use of deadly force in self-defense. Another Georgia prosecutor initially concluded that the now high-profile death of Ahmaud Arbery was justified under that same theory of law.
The Ahmaud Arbery case is very much linked to this case, and not just by geography.
The color of my brother's skin has so much to do with why he is behind bars right now.
A redacted police police report of the shooting says that the officers were responding to a call about a possible drive-by shooting close to 1 a.m. on June 14th. By then, Hutchinson had been taken to the hospital with a fatal gunshot wound. In a police press conference captured by WSAV, Haley's family begged the public for information.
Our state, our counties need this message right here more than anything. There can be mercy, there can be forgiveness, but justice, it has to be served.
Wilson's sister says he had already spoken to police by the time of that press conference. And according to his family,
thank you for your Taco Bell.
The shouting of racial slurs began after he left this Taco Bell drive-thru with his girlfriend, who is white.
When you have a car full of young white men in South Georgia calling your girlfriend an N-word lover and trying to literally run you off the road and is hanging out of the car shooting all kinds of words and explicatives, you can't really tell what's next.
At some point, Wilson fired his gun, killing Hutchinson. 3 days after the shooting on June 17th, he turned himself in.
He was worried about our mom more than anything, and I just told him, like, I got mama, like, I got her, and I just gave him a hug. I mean, there was no words to say. I didn't need him to explain or justify to me anything because I know who he is.
The president of the Georgia NAACP, Reverend James Woodall, is one of many claiming prosecutors are targeting the wrong people.
Ms. Hutchinson is a victim. She was murdered, but she wasn't murdered by Mr. Wilson. She was murdered by the gentlemen that were in the vehicle at the time of her death.
Wilson's sister sees it as a test of faith.
Society's ugliness truly showed its colors that night, and that's hard for people who grow up wanting to see the light in everything.
Court TV reached out to police in this case, also the prosecutors and defense attorneys. There's a gag order that was issued early on by the judge that stops those parties from being able to speak about this case. So they did decline to comment, and that includes the Hutchinson family, who said that they don't want to jeopardize the case, and that is the reason that they would not be interviewing or speaking about it at this time. But they have previously told reporters that they feel Hutchinson was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So he was at the wrong place. So he was coming out of a Taco Bell with his white girlfriend. He's saying there were racial slurs calling him in lover, which is not a new term. We know that's a part of race. That's been going on for years. And so it escalated into them getting in their car, going about their business, right? They get in the car. These fools follow them, and tries to run them off the road. I always think about situations like this because I have children. I have a family. Most of the time when we're traveling together. So if somebody is trying to run me off the road, even if there were words exchanged, if you arguing back and forth with somebody else, words and passing and going, that's just what it is, right? You cuss me out, I cuss you out. We going our own way. Nobody, but they a lot of times be the aggressors. Let's keep it 100. So you're the aggressor and you go follow these people and you follow them and then you try to run them off the road and you could have tried to run them off the road and caused an accident. You could have caused their car to flip. You could have caused bodily harm to these folks. If you're trying to run me off the road and cut me off and jumping in front, I don't look at that as a oh, you're being nice to me. That's a goddamn threat. So I look at that as you're trying to harm me. You're trying to hurt me. So how would anybody look at that? So you're not supposed to defend yourself in that. So yeah, and he pulled out the pew pew and he did that. And unfortunately, the girl in the car lost her life. But how, he's trying to defend. What else he's supposed to do? Just get ran off the road and then what? Why they keep going and then nobody could care? Like, come on, this is insane. They wouldn't even do that. These folks, people walk around, and I hate to say it, and look, we have white friends, and they would say the same shit. I feel like a lot of times there are black people who defend this behavior more than a lot of white people do. There are a lot of white folks we know who disagree with this shit. So that's why I say it's not all white people, because we know some people who got logical sense. You got niggas out here who defend this, like y'all. But then if it happened to you, you're gonna just be sitting there looking stupid and be like, oh well. They tried to run us off the road. We just gonna just chalk it up. We're gonna go do a police report. We ain't gonna try to defend. It's like when you black, you can't defend yourself, but they got all the rights and the reasons and the rhyme to defend themselves, and they will do it and have you looking stupid. Anyway, I just think this is crazy. But anyway, this was a case where he says he was defending himself. He shot at the people for trying to run them off the road, and it unfortunately hit the young lady that was in the car. She ended up passing away, and so he was found guilty of what he was found. He was found guilty of manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Right, so he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter, because they said it was not his intention to hurt her. It wasn't. They did acknowledge that it wasn't his intention to hurt her, but because of it, she ended up losing her life. So he was charged with involuntary manslaughter and 10 years. I think this was back in 2020. So I would assume now that he's out of prison, but he was charged. And I just wanted to bring that up. There was a similar case, which made me kind of look at it, is because I don't think that Karmelo went there to harm somebody. I do believe it was self-defense. He was trying to defend himself. He didn't go there to hurt somebody. I don't believe that. And once again, all of this would have been avoided if that guy, the deceased, the victim, would have not approached him. And even if he was under a tent, does that mean I'm sorry, I still don't believe you. That's the reasoning for you to put your hands on somebody and create and become the aggressor. You don't know how to have enough composure to step back and say, all right, let me go get the coach, or let me go get somebody who's going to step in for this case, because this guy is being combative, if that's what he was doing. I don't see it like that. I can't see it like that. And I just think for people who see it that way, I think something is, I don't know. It's something else. So I don't know, y'all. But once again, everybody got their opinions. Everybody see things the way they want to see it, and that's fine. And my opinion is my opinion, and yours is yours. But I just think it's justifiable when you defend, that you're, somehow you defending yourself as a black person is wrong. But when they defend themselves, oh my God, you see, they understand. Oh my God, he had to do what he had to do because he thought his life was in danger. When it comes to a white person, oh, they're going to justify and they're going to stand behind, oh, he did what he had to do, or she had to do, defend herself because they felt attacked and they felt this. But as a black person, you can't ever feel attacked. You can't feel like somebody's threatening your life when they probably are. Yeah, it's just crazy to me. That is crazy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. What's going on, Jazz? How you been? Hit the like button, y'all. Judah 45 says, oh, thank you for the super chat. Didn't say anything, but thank you for your super chat. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's just crazy, y'all. Let's move on. I want to move on to other people who were talking about this. Charleston White said what he said about it. I want to move on. I want to pull up this other video about this whole somebody else who talked about this situation as well. Shout out to Urban Politicians TV. He kind of talked about this, which all of this was before the verdict. The verdict is out. The man was found guilty. But I want to play what people were saying about this before the initial verdict, you guys. Make sure you hitting the like button.
Had to come tap in, and first and foremost, I do want to once again send prayers up to everybody involved with this situation right here. It's most definitely, I can only imagine. Had to come tap in, and first and foremost, I do want to once again send prayers up to everybody involved with this situation right here. It's most definitely, I can only imagine something that's straining and draining for you to have to go through with this right here, whether it's losing somebody, family, and then also a situation where you don't know the future of one of your loved ones and the burden that it takes down on your family, having to wake up and go through this, most definitely prayers up. And I had a links in the description where you can watch the clips in the beginning in full from Law and Crime Network, also Fox, and then also WFAA, where they were outside of the courtroom and in the courthouse yesterday. Those two, and gave stuff and updates right here, and it's a lot.
Oh, well, there we go.
More facts that have came out as the prosecutors have rested their case. Now they can come back with the rebuttal. It's the defense turns now, and this is going to continue tomorrow. It is going to be going into the weekends as well. We have to see how all the facts come out. And as you heard right there, we are not inside the courtroom. We don't get to see it. We have to rely on their reports unless you go read all the transcripts. But they have questioned and put the credibility of a lot of the witnesses on display right there in front of the jury, where one of them said he didn't know Karmelo like that, wouldn't consider him a friend. They came back with photos where here he is at the house with you, here he is in this photo with you, and this is them just going into saying, hey, he had reason to be under that tent. Now on the other side, one of the things that they said that kept coming in court, why does he have this knife at this track meet? And that's most definitely being put in front of the jury as one of the things, in their mind. I can't tell you what the jury thinking. I don't know how they feel about it, but when you hear it's one of the situations like, we did have a knife at the track meet. He brought the knife up there. Why was it there? If he didn't bring this knife there, he could possibly still be alive. But then you have to weigh in the other side of it. Well, if you don't go and say something to him and put your hands on him, you don't even know that he has the knife there. And that's what y'all have to understand and know. I'm just reporting the facts. I don't call the shots. It's going to rely on the jury whether he's guilty or not. But in the state of Texas, what is considered as first-degree murder, it has to check off all of those dots. He had a reason to be up under the tent.
Now, this says to find someone guilty of first-degree murder, a prosecutor must prove the defendant committed an unlawful killing with intent and premeditation, or that the death occurred during the commission of certain dangerous felonies. The case must be built on specific legal elements and proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To secure a conviction, the prosecution must establish the following: intent, malice, aforethought. The defendant had the specific purpose of causing another person's death or acted with a conscious disregard for human life. Let's continue.
Not breaking the law by going under the tent, and it wasn't an illegal knife. It's just questionable for them to say, as the prosecutors have pushed their line, well, he had this knife there. Also, one of the coaches, when they said the culture and the rules and effects of players going under other teams' tents, he said, I wasn't aware of that. Now, we do try to have somebody there to supervise people under these team tents to make sure fights don't break out and conflicts don't happen, but it's not a foreign thing for him to be under the tent, especially for the simple fact that he knew somebody there. And on top of the fact it was raining. So when you tell somebody who's under the tent with somebody that they know, who they're familiar with, to the point they take pictures with them, they cool with them, we have a third person that we mutual with, it's raining outside, you come tell me get out the tent, and then we get into a back and forth, and then he says, hey, don't touch me. That means it must have gotten to that point where, hey, it seemed like it's going to get physical. You touch him, he stabs you, he runs off. Now, it's going to be based off of what the jury say. That's just the facts of it. But in the state of Texas, a stabbing happened out here before, and I keep putting people onto this case, and y'all can look it up yourselves. Case in Allison last year, I covered this one, and it was happening around the time that this incident happened, where they found him not guilty on the murder charge. Now, he did get a negligent homicide, which is a very way lesser degree of a charge, which goes 6 to 6.
So this is a case of Casey Allison was found not guilty of murder, but convicted of the lesser charge of criminally negligent homicide for the 2022 stabbing death of fellow student Joe Ramirez Jr. Inside a Belton High School bathroom, a Bell County judge sentenced him to the maximum of 10 years in prison, right? Trial and sentencing overview. It says the verdict in April of 2025, a Bell County jury acquitted Allison of the murder charge, opting instead for the lesser criminally negligent homicide conviction following a fight where Allison claimed self-defense. So this is another case very similar. Let's continue.
Months to 2 years of state jail, and they ended up coming back later with an enhancement. Those two guys were beefing. It was altercations. It didn't get physical before them at first, but they understood they had a problem. They ended up getting into it inside the school bathroom. They were fighting. breaks out. He pulls out the knife, stabs the guy multiple times, the kid, and most definitely God bless his soul, multiple times, and he dies from those stab wounds. So it was a situation that was different, but he didn't get found guilty of murder. And that's why I'm just pushing the facts, because I don't make the laws. I think people are looking at it like...
Right. So similar case, they were fighting. They were literally fighting. Fight broke out. Now, if we gonna keep the same energy, then it's a fight. They're equal playing field. Y'all are both fighting. But one kid pulls out a knife, similar to this situation, stabs the guy several times. Looks like a white kid. Stabs him several times, right? But they come back and give him a lesser charge, and then they end up acquitting him because they found that it probably was self-defense. And he stabbed him several times. And the child, same situation. But it wasn't a black, I just, Lord. That's what I'm saying. It was a very similar case. They fight and get into a, now where, I don't know if there was outrage behind that. And if people were thinking the same thing, why did he bring a knife? Why did he pull out a knife? Y'all fighting. It's a fair fight. Let's have a fair fight, right? What's the difference in this case versus this one? What's the difference? What's the difference? I don't know. What's the difference? So in this case, they were fighting. That one kid pulled out a knife and stabbed the other one to death. Should he have gotten, do y'all think he should have gotten life in prison, or he should have been found guilty on murder as opposed to being acquitted? He defended himself. What's the difference? And that was a one-on-one fight. They were fighting. Shouldn't they have just duked it out and said, a fight, let's do it fair? When you fighting, who thinking about fair? A lot of people act like they've never been in fights or never seen fights, or you never, like, everybody is Christian when it comes to this stuff. Everybody is don't understand real life and real shit happening in real time. Like, you never seen people fighting? Have you ever seen a fair fight for real? I mean, there have been fair fights, but when people in a heated fight, ain't nobody trying to be fair. People are pulling out chairs, people pulling out knives, people pulling out hammers, people pulling out bricks, people pulling out whatever they can to defend themselves. It ain't what is going on? What's the difference? But what I'm saying, Trey, did Metcalf and Karmelo get into a fight? No, if you listen to what they're saying, no, they got into some altercation and Karmelo didn't start it. Allegedly, he pushed him first. So if he pushed him, then they're saying that the guy was bruised up and stuff. So somebody hit him. So he was pushed. What fight? So he was pushed, and then it escalated, right? He didn't just push him and then he ran off. He pushed him, and then what happened? Apparently, they're saying he had bruises on him. There was more to it than he just. So you think the unfortunate the victim in this just pushed him and stopped? So he just pushed him and he backed up. That what you're telling me? He pushed him and then he backed up and said, "Okay, that's it. One push is enough. I don't want to do anything more. Let me push him and back the fuck up. And let's leave, because if I push, because I don't want to be the aggressor. Let me just push him. Who does that? Let me push him once, and then he had the brother, and then others. So he just did this, and he backed away and said, let's go, y'all, because let's go tell someone, because I don't want to start anything. You think that's what happened? Judah 45, thank you for the super chat, says, why are we surprised? But I'm not. I'm just going through it. I'm not surprised. Why are we surprised by this? In the lands of our captivity, we have become comfortable POWs. Wake up, family. This is the American way. Shaking my head. That's why I said before, I'm not surprised. I'm just going through what's being said, but I'm not surprised, Judah. I'm really not. I'm not. I could give y'all some examples right now of some racist shit happening in real time today. I could give you some examples right now. So I'm not surprised. you know, and then in Texas too. I'm not surprised. Like, come on. I could give you some real life examples right now that are stuff that's occurring right now that wouldn't make any sense. But then there are people who will be like, I don't believe that. Oh my God, that's not happening. Shit, you know, people are weird on social media. Thank you, Judah. I appreciate you. Inspirational Truth. Thank you for the super chat. It says, yeah, there was no premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt. The charge didn't even make sense. Fights are just fair in the ring. Thank you, Inspirational Truth. I appreciate you for the support. Yeah, it's like if you have to be careful on how you protect you and your family, yourself. You gotta skate around being able to protect yourself when they wouldn't do that. I mean, hell, I remember that incident of that young man who, young black man, by the way, I forget what state he was in. He missed his bus. And he was new to the town, and he went to knock on the guy's door to try to get direction, and they pulled out a gun and start shooting at the little boy. Now, is that, I mean, you talking about, what the, he knocked on the door to get directions, and they shoot at him. Thank God the boy didn't get shot. The man just started shooting at him, talking about, oh, we've had break-ins, and so he knocked on the door. He just knocked on the door to get directions. You automatically assume that he was coming to rob you. If he was going to rob you, why would he be knocking on the door? But it's automatic assumption. You start shooting at the boy, had to run. He was lost. He wanted directions. And because he black, he just automatically started shooting at him with a shotgun. Now, what if he would have killed that young man? Then what? Would that have been stand your ground? Is that stand your ground? You just knocked on your door for directions and you just automatically thought he was a threat to you. But you shoot him dead, and then everybody say, oh, he had a right to defend himself. That young man didn't have a knife, a gun, or not a weapon at all. But he had a right to defend himself. Like, this shit be crazy. That's why I don't get into political stuff and racist stuff, because it will drive you nuts. Just the lack of logical thinking that people have when they want to protect the things that they know aren't right. Like, for what? Well, come on. Like this country isn't built upon this. Like, this is something brand new. Oh my God. Like, come on. Like, stop. Thank you, Inspirational Truth. I appreciate you. David, thank you for the super chat. Says, them folks make up the rules for what self-defense is. According to them, this is why it doesn't work for black people. Thank you, David. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Successful MD says, what is you saying? Assaultive? Is that what you're trying to say? Behavior is not always physical. Right. Thank you, Successful MD. Yeah, I mean, but listen, I always say this, if you're saying something to me from a distance, or you might want to say something, or, verbally, okay, cool. I might ignore that. I might ignore your verbal assaults, because you could say what you want. And I think that's what they took in, the guy saying, don't touch me. As long as you don't touch me. He said, don't touch me. You could basically, because that's what we were taught growing up. Look, they could say what they want. Say what you want. Even though words hurt, it could hurt you, mentally. They're not physically harming you. So if you could talk what you want, but don't put your hands on me, because once you do that, you've assaulted me, and now I have to defend myself. So that's what he was saying. We've all heard that growing up. Look, say what you want as long as you don't touch me. You could say what you want across the room. I can ignore that. But don't come over here and touch me, because I'm not bothering you. I'm not physically harming you. That's like somebody physically harming your child. If that's okay, then somebody can walk up to your goddamn child and push your goddamn child down, and you're going to stand there and say, oh, well, that's okay. Because I don't want to be in contempt of defending myself and my child. Somebody walk up and push your child, you're going to just be like, oh, it's just a push. Okay, just push my child down. And, oh, well, I'm just going to take that because that's how it's supposed to go. Like, are you, once again, people could say stuff until it directly affects them. You're going to let somebody come and assault you. You put your hands on me, that's considered assault. You can say what you want. I don't give a damn. Say what you want across there, because I can say what I want to back to you if I want to, but I'm not going to go over and assault you. I'm not going to touch your person. I'm not going to come in your space and disrespect you, because that's what that is. People, and I don't think people should take that lightly, because if you do, then that gives these people more power, anybody, the power to think that they can do that. And oh my God, if you're scared to defend yourself or do something, like, come on. It's the same way somebody push you and you push them back, right? I've seen this. This happened to the postal man. The man was delivering the mail. A black postal worker was doing his goddamn job, delivering the mail, and a white man, go figure, comes up and start messing with him. And put his hands on the postal worker who's doing his goddamn job, defending why he's doing his job. And because he's racist and he got a problem with black people being in his neighborhood, even if the man is just doing his job, he puts his hand on that man. That man defended himself, hit him back. That old man fell down, hit his head, and died. Now, what did he purposely try to do this to this man? No, because he wasn't bothering him. This is the part I always say, people got to learn. I don't give a damn who you are. Y'all, people got to learn to keep your goddamn hands to yourself. It's unacceptable. Just like everybody wants to say, oh, it's unacceptable for him to have. He could have a knife. I used to walk around carrying a knife to defend myself as a young woman. I got to defend somebody walk up to me, I'm a woman. I got to be able to have something to defend myself. Same way people carry mace, people carry guns, and everything else. It wasn't illegal to do so. So you mean to tell me I gotta stop defending myself or having something to defend myself because somebody else, from somebody else's advances or aggression? That don't make no kind of sense. It doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. So that man who defended himself doing his job with somebody approaching him, assaulting him, so he hit the man, the poor man died. The poor man got hit back and he didn't survive. That's unfortunate. But he didn't survive. So now that man lost his job. I don't know if he went to jail or not, but they would say, oh my God, he shouldn't have hit that man. But that man hit him. He approached him. He just doing his job. It's like, we got to stop with this foolishness. We got to get to the root. I always say the root of the problem. People minding their goddamn business and stop approaching folks and stop putting your hands on people. Because everybody is not going to sit back and let you just assault them and just take it, like a good black Negro should. Just sit back and let them just assault you, and you just sit back and let me go get the police. They're going to spit on you, punching you on your face, hit you and your whole family, beat and assault your whole goddamn family. And you going to sit there like a punk and just say, oh, well, that's what we're supposed to do. Us Negroes, we should be just happy to be here. Oh, they could just do whatever to us and we're supposed to take. Are you goddamn out your mind? I don't know. Hell no. This ain't the 40s, 50s, or the 60s. And unfortunately, though, when you do defend yourself, if it end up like this Karmelo situation, you doomed anyway. So this is what somebody said, look, mind your business. People try to mind their business, stay in their own place. But you can only do that but so far. If people just continuously feel they have the right to approach you and bother you, there's nowhere is that fair. With this ruling, they set the precedent that having a weapon equals automatic intent to kill, which is dumb. Right. Manslaughter makes more sense for this case, not murder. I agree with that. Melee fights are dangerous and people do become unalived from falling and getting hit with fists. That's true. So that's what I'm saying. Even if there was no weapon, there are cases where there's no weapon and somebody still end up losing their life. That's still self-defense, because if you approaching somebody and you're hitting them and then they hit you and they get the best of you, oh well, because you shouldn't be attacking or approaching folks or putting your hands on people. I don't understand that. We would be better off if people understand their place. Now, if you think somebody's doing something or whatever and you call the police, okay, that's one thing. They prove they didn't do it, okay. Even though I think a lot of times people be making these false claims, but if you really feel like you're threatened or somebody's following you or doing something, call the police, get out of harm's way, whatever. You still need to try to protect yourself. Child, this is why, baby, thank you, Successful MD. It's just a hot mess. Weight classes exist for a reason, right? I just, I don't be understanding. I don't be understanding, y'all. And I'm a pretty fair person. I just know one thing. I be goddamn. You think, look, child, listen, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Sometimes this is why people don't be caring, like if they go to jail, because they're like, look, I gotta protect my family. I gotta protect myself. I gotta protect my family. I'm gonna do that at whatever cost it's gonna have to be. Because you're not gonna sit down and let that means what kind of person are you? You gonna sit back? These white folks ain't gonna do that. I don't know now. I know, like I said, we know white folks who gonna defend themselves. They don't give a damn. You think they worried about what the police and the courts gonna say? Hell no. You come across my property or you come and do something, they ready. They ready. Like, I don't understand why when it comes to black people, a lot of black people are like, oh, tiptoeing around this. No, them people don't tiptoe around that. They tell you, hey, you do this was going to happen. And they'll do it because more than likely they know that they're going to be looked at as the victim. And they know that they have the advantage to say, damn, this is self-defense if you do this. But with us, we got to tread lightly. You can't defend yourself because you're going to be looked at as the aggressor, no matter what the situation is. Thank you, Successful MD. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's just crazy, y'all. It really is. Let's continue though.
Why do you had the knife in school? And I'm not telling nobody how to feel about it. I'm just telling you how the law works when you get inside of the courtroom. It's about credibility. Yeah. It's about what you can put to the jury. And it's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. So what the defense is doing, they're trying to create what the murder conviction is based off of, reasonable doubt. If you raise any bit of a reasonable doubt, the jury's not supposed to find this person guilty. And then also, keeping it 100 with y'all, after this trial is over, they're going to go for the look of, hey, there wasn't a black person in this jury at all. He didn't have a jury of his peers. And you can come on out here and y'all can act like it's not racial tension. Now, I put that clip in the beginning for Fox, but they said Saturday was much better. It wasn't as turned up as the other day, how it was and how it was playing out. They said it wasn't as like going up. People probably was moving around Saturday. We'll see how it play on Monday. But I'm going to give y'all the facts off of based what happens with the law, self-defense in the country and self-defense in Texas. It varies from state to state. But, you know, you're supposed to match equal force, but in certain circumstances, you can't tell somebody what the equal force. It's just the laws are the laws, y'all, and it's unfortunate because I wouldn't want to see somebody get killed or die or somebody get charged for it, and we have this point when they could just really be moving on with their lives right now. I'd rather that happen as opposed to this. I just say this for future references, keep your hands to yourself. Because nobody who is a human, you don't have authority over another human or what they should and shouldn't be doing or what they should and shouldn't be if it's not invading your personal property or privacy. Just keeping it all the way 100. But we have to see no laws were broken in the act of him being under that tent. No law is broken by him having that knife there either. So we'll keep y'all updated with it. It's a lot more going to come from it. Stay on your pivot. 1000 for shit show.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right in my opinion. I agree with what he's saying. It makes logical sense to me. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't go over thinking that you have dominion and authority over folks, because it may cost you your life. And once again, and I'll say this, unfortunate that was a young man, 17 years old, could have been alive. But I just don't understand why certain people feel the need or think that they have control over other groups of people. Like you're not the authority. Get the authorities. And if they told him, hey, you got to leave, then he needs to just listen then. But you got regular people walking around here feeling like they have authority over folks and that people are supposed to listen to you. We've watched countless videos of people following folks in their own apartment buildings. I just saw a video of the man at the pool with his I don't know, that was his kids night at the pool. Here she just popped her ass up talking about, what are you doing here? Time to go. Do you guys live here? It ain't none of your goddamn business. I don't owe you anything. Or if you thought they didn't belong there, go call the police and have them come and then maybe they could talk to the police. But you walking up as a stranger telling these people, get out, come on, get out, guys, it's time to go. Who the hell are you? You know, this is the stuff I be talking about. We see countless videos of people living their life, going into their apartment buildings, and these people following them. Oh, I need to know if you live here. No, the hell you don't. You ain't got to know if I live here or not. This ain't like your goddamn business. Go mind your business. Go to your goddamn... If you followed her as a black person, you followed them to their apartment, they'll be calling the goddamn police. If we start doing the things that they do, they're going to lose their damn mind. That's why I love that video. This guy on Instagram, I forget his name, but he was like, he got the song saying, I'm trying to see something. I forget his name, but he on Instagram and he follows them and do the things that they do to us and they looking like, what the hell? Right, because it doesn't make any sense. You minding your business. Why is somebody telling you, the things they do to us? When you reverse it, they see how silly it is. And some people get it and some just don't like it. But then you have people in the comments like, why is he harassing people? Well, y'all don't ask that when they're harassing folks. Leave people alone. I don't care if you black, blue, green, purple, white, yellow. Leave folks alone. If nobody is bothering you, leave these people alone. Leave people alone. Stop messing with people. Leave people alone. Stop thinking that you can control and tell people what to do. If you think they're doing something illegal, out of order, call the goddamn police. Let the police deal with it. Stop thinking that you can go over and control folks. Stop putting your hands on people. Because once again, equal rights mean equal lefts. And you don't know what they're coming out their left hand with. So you need to be cautious. Keep your goddamn hands to yourself. Stop approaching folks. Stop thinking that you over people. And that would solve a lot of these issues. I don't give a damn who you are and what color you are. I'm saying across the board, keep your goddamn hands to yourself. Why is that so hard for people to do? Stop walking up to people. We was taught at a young age, you don't walk up on nobody. You don't know if somebody crazy. You don't know if they got something. You don't know what they got. You don't know who they are. You don't know why people feel so walking up on people. Stop walking up on people. Stop touching people. Stop telling people what to do. These are grown folks. Nobody has no authority over you. This ain't, what the hell? Touching people here. Exactly. Stop touching. This all will be solved. Stop touching people. And then look, for the people who out here who are criminals, just doing criminal activity, well, y'all gonna be dealt with. If for the criminals out here committing crimes, y'all need to be dealt with. But these ain't criminals. People are out here just doing a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing, and then throwing their hands, throwing dirt and hiding their hands and acting like they're the innocent victims when you're not. Get some control over your goddamn self. Stop approaching folks. Now, and keep in mind that if you go approach people and you go over here and thinking that you're over these people or that you got control, then you're going to be met with whatever you met with. Now, whatever consequence they get, but some people don't give a damn. Some people don't mind going to jail for defending themselves. Some people don't care about all that. So just keep that in mind. Stop approaching people. How many of y'all in this live stream have approached somebody? Let me know. I want to know how many people, and be honest, how many people in this live chat have ever approached somebody or went and put your hands on them because you didn't like something they was doing and it wasn't directly related to you? How many of y'all have done that? I want to know. I'm just curious. How many of y'all in this chat have ever approached somebody that you didn't know and went over to check them for something they was doing that had nothing to do with you? Or something, or maybe it was something you thought that they was doing that was wrong, and you went over and got in their face and told them something about it and pushed them or put your hands on them. How many of y'all approached somebody, put your hands on them about something you didn't like? Somebody you don't even know. I'm not talking about your family. I'm not talking about somebody you know. I'm talking about somebody you don't even know. You never seen them before, and you just went over and approached them and put your hands on them and told them what they shouldn't be doing. Oh, you shouldn't be here. Or you shouldn't be doing this. And you put your hands on them. How many of y'all have ever done that? I want to know. Somebody says, let's see. Never. No, never, never. No, because I'm not stupid. Right. I only respond if approached. Right. I've never done that. And Trey, we not surprised you done it, child. We not surprised. That means you have a problem. Let's see. That's not my right to do that. I be putting hands on people. Oh, okay. I did and got my ass whipped. Okay. Sentence has not been announced yet. So the sentence has not been announced yet, right? Right. So yeah, if you're doing that, y'all need to go seek some help or therapy or something, because something ain't right. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. But shit, most people don't do that. Most people don't go and approach people that's strangers and put their hands on them. Most people got sense enough not to do that because you know what you get is what you get. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Most people have sense enough not to do that. And yeah, that is not a normal thing to do. You don't just go over and mess with strangers, people you don't know knowledge of them, you don't know them at all, and you go over and start shit with them. That means you have a problem. You have a problem. And if you got a problem, you need to go get some help. Because everybody ain't gonna sit there and put up with that. So yeah, that's just my thing. But once again, that's not a normal thing. Most people know how to conduct themselves and don't do that. So that's why I say it's not everybody. It's not everybody. But there are some people who think like that. Stabbing an unarmed person is illegal. Yeah, just like shooting an unarmed person. We see that happen a lot too, right? A lot of people who have been shot didn't know with no weapons, but that's illegal too. But we see that happen a lot. But it's not a whole lot of outrage on that part. Yeah, stabbing somebody is that's considered illegal. Shooting an unarmed man, shooting somebody in the back who's running away from a scene, is that legal? That shouldn't be legal either. Who ain't, they're not presenting a threat to you if they're running from you. So there's a lot of instances of people being killed who didn't have weapons, but there was a lot of those cases. Nothing, the person don't go to jail for murder. They were always going to find him guilty. They're gonna try to give him life. Child, that's unfortunate. It's crazy. It's crazy that now he's in this situation. A young man, life is lost over making one bad move. On both sides, in my opinion. It's just unfortunate. Like I said, 2 young people have lost their lives, and that's crazy. And it didn't have to even be that. It all could have been avoided. It all could have been avoided. I mean, it really could have. This is crazy. I didn't think he would get away with it. From the consistent information I was hearing, I just couldn't see him being not guilty. Right. This person says he deserves life. He could have walked away. Well, that's interesting. The other person didn't have to approach him either. It really would have been, he would have been alive if he hadn't approached him. Why did he approach him? And even if he had approached him and said, hey, you're not supposed to be here, this is our tent or whatever, he could have, both parties could have walked away. Both sides could have walked away. That nobody is special in this situation. That's what I'm saying. Both sides could have walked away. Why is it always on one party to always be the bigger person to do what somebody else says because they told them you do it? You're not an authority. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's an authority or figure over a person. If you approach somebody and say, you need to leave this our tent, he didn't want to leave, call the authorities. Go call a coach or somebody who's of authority to say, hey, bro, you're not supposed to be here. And all of this could have been avoided. Why does it have to escalate to somebody feeling like they have authority over you to push you, shove you, or do whatever just because he's standing under a goddamn tent? Do you think a fight needed to be started because somebody was under a tent? We got to look at it on both sides. Just because somebody's standing under a tent and they're not supposed to be there, does that mean a fight should have escalated? Does that mean that they need to be pushed or shoved or anything? That doesn't warrant that type of behavior either. That means so people are expecting one side or one group to do what they can't do. People are expecting one group to do something they can't even do. They can't even move objectively and logically and in a way that you're expecting the other person to do. Oh, he could have just walked away. He could have walked away too and said, you know what, this is not worth it. I'm going to go get coach such and such. So you can't expect somebody else to do what you can't even do yourself. Karmelo was supposed to appeal, losing his ability to defend himself using stand your ground. Oh, wow. Let's see. You should react to Benny. Who is Benny Johnson? Benny Johnson and how he's been acting every racist, especially with this case. I don't know who that is. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and we all know how run things, it is not us. How they run things, I think that's what you're trying to say. It's fitting to be a hot summer. Oh my God. The lesson here is the law doesn't seem to distinguish between aggressor and non-aggressor, right? Yeah. I mean, but once again, I said I wasn't surprised. I mean, you got to think about I think when you put yourself in it, it doesn't matter who you are. Like I said, I don't care if you red, brown, blue, green. Put yourself and your family in a situation and see how you feel when these outcomes occur the way they do. If your son was bullied, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that Karmelo was bullied. I'm just saying in any situation, when you put your family and you look at your family, the people that you care about, and you put them in a situation, it looks a lot different. It looks differently when you put yourself in it. It's easy for people to judge other folks who they don't care about, or don't see the person as, don't see the logic in it. And especially if you're racist, of course. I mean, come on, you're gonna be partial to your group. If you just partial to your group, and they could do no wrong, then you're never gonna see logic in it. You know what I mean? If you don't look at what's right versus what's wrong, because of color, then it's always gonna look like that. You know what I'm saying? I always say I don't care what color you are, because I know good people, good and bad people in all colors. It's not about race to me. It's about what's right and what's wrong, and being objective and not letting your racism or your bias distort how you actually see something. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be about race, is what I said. But unfortunately, it is, as this country is built on racism. That's just what it is. So it's always going to be about that. You're always going to look at, for the most part, they're going to look at a black person as the aggressor and the one that is wrong versus the white. That's just black is wrong, white is right. That's how it's always been. So of course, and there's more. The black people are a smaller demographic, so there's more white people than black. So of course, most people are going to side with what looks like them, even if they're wrong. And that's not everybody, because like I said, I know white people who don't see it that way. You know what I mean? Who can look at it logically because they're not racist. You see what I'm saying? So there's always going to be a difference of opinions and views. Every white person is not racist. Every white person don't see it and say, oh, crucifying, because we've seen cases where, what's that young white boy who went into the church? What's his name? And killed all those black people who were just worshiping. What's his name? What's the excuse for him? They sit down giving him water and feeding him, and they feel sorry for him because that's one of them. They're not looking at him as a heinous a criminal. They're not looking at him as a stone cold killer. But see, people defend that. Why? Because you don't give a shit about the black people. Black people in there worshiping even the young man himself said he almost rethought it because the people were so nice to him. What's his name? Dylan Roof. Exactly. Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof said he almost didn't do it because the people were so nice to him. They didn't treat him poorly. He said they treated him so nicely. He went in there and killed them people, and then what? So what's the justification for that? When they were treating him very nice, they didn't slam him to the ground and say, oh my God, you're a stone cold killer. They felt sorry, like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him to make him want to do that? You felt sympathy for him, but if that was a black young man, you're going to pull out every malicious thing you can about him, and y'all want to say it's not about race? Come on, now you got to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not see that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. What's the excuse for Dylan Roof? Dylan Roof went and killed people who were worshiping inside the church who did nothing to him because of his indoctrination. And they treated him very gently, like as if he did them a service, like he did something that they didn't care. If we're going to really be honest, they didn't give a shit about them black folks. They don't look at black people. A lot of people who are racist and think like this don't give a fuck about the life of black people. So it was nothing to them. But had that been a black young boy who went and just burnt up and killed killed a group of white people worshiping, oh my God. It would have been a sight. They would have closed the world down, and it would have been moment of silences and visual lights lit because, oh my God, you took out, you know what I'm saying? The elite of the world. So there is a difference. We can't ignore that. There's a difference, clear difference. But nobody really, I mean, you know what I mean? It wasn't really too much negative to say about him. They weren't paying. If anything, they try to study him and see what made you do that. Because we make it appear as if, oh, we don't do that. We don't commit crimes all of a sudden. Like we're the perfect species. We don't commit crimes. And it's not a race, it's not a hate crime. Why? But what is it then? See, my thing is just call it for what it is. If this is what we see there's a history of it, this is what's there, acknowledge it for what it is. And stop trying to act like it's something else. That's all I'm saying. I say that with everything. If this is what you do, claim it and acknowledge it. As opposed to trying to act like it's not about race, it's not about this, when we know a lot of these cases are. Because when we look at the examples of the people who non-melanated folks who commit crimes, we see the difference in the response. We see the language in the media and how they portray it and the key words that they say, how you identify a black person versus a white. We see it. People realize it now. People have been realizing it. There's a different language that's used when they're doing stuff and versus how they portray black people. Come on. And even if you are an upstanding young black person and you do something, you're still portrayed as a thug and you try to find the worst of them. But then these people, you try to find the best in them to try to understand or make people understand, well, there's something must have been going on to make him do this. Not the fact that he might just be a stone cold killer. There's a difference, y'all. That's all I'm saying. There's a difference. But you know, it is what it is. Once again, there's nothing, you know, we can, you know, all I can do is just say, protect yourself and don't, you know what I mean? That's all, that's all you can do. You can't, you know, there's no justification for a lot of this stuff. You know, I always say, look, everybody, there's people in all groups that commit crimes. It's not just the black community. But this is why I speak out on the foolishness in our communities, because we have to start addressing it. We can't always defer to what other groups are doing, because we're not looked at as the same. You know, doesn't matter how upstanding of a citizen you are. Somebody's still going to pull your card. Somebody's still going to look at you as if you're nothing. Somebody's still going to view you as nothing. No matter how hard you work, how great you are in society, no matter how good you are as a person, if you're a black person, somebody's still going to question that and still look at you as if you're trying to do something outside of even if you don't have a history of it. You know what I mean? You're not given the benefit of the doubt as a black person, but other people are. And I think that's what's, you know, the hard part. And but this is why I push in our communities, you know, as far as the foolishness that's going on within our communities, because there is confusion and foolishness, that we do better and we change that for ourselves. So at least, you know, and even anytime, and even with this whole Karmelo situation, you see the guy was outside of the courthouse talking about, oh, just y'all pointing out the negatives in our community, pointing out, don't just go and, you know, what he said, he brought up Cardi B or Meg, he brought up the foolishness. But see, they can easily do that because they know they're watching and they see that, oh, this is the things that a lot of people in our community respect and hold to a high regard, and they call it degeneracy. So they can use it too against us. And this is why I just say, listen, maybe we need to take a step back and think about our actions and the things that some of us are doing within our communities, because it looks bad on all of us. You could have always been an upstanding citizen, pay your taxes, do what you need to do, nice to people, good to people. You could have rescued, you know, a group of homeless folks and saved them from a fire. You could have been all of these extraordinary things, but there's still a question behind you. Because there's a negative connotation or negative idea of what black people are based off of the few that are in the front and showing the negative actions of a few. We're all put in this one group. And I don't like that, because that's not the representation of all black people. And, you know, if one person does something within our community, we're all looked at in that way. And this is why I think it does a disservice for all of us, and how sometimes it could be used against you, even if that's not who you are as a person. You know, I don't think it helps us for sure. Now, it may not impact your everyday life like that, but it definitely gives a negative view or of what black people are and what they stand for. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm like, if we can clean up, you know, what's going on within our communities, and we, you know, there's less black on black crimes and shooting each other and all these things that a lot of people talk about. Because when I'm talking about it, or when black people talk about it, I think majority of the times it could be seen as coming from a place of trying to get you to do better. When everybody else is talking about it, they could care less if you get it right, because it's not beneficial to them that we get it right. It always gives them something to use against us. You get what I'm saying? And so I don't, it's not coming from a place of, come on, I want y'all to do better. No, it's coming from a place of, we always got something on you, to the point to where we can't even look at ourselves and see all the shit that we doing too. They speak from a place as if they're perfect and they got it all together, when we know that's not the case. The Charlie Kirk thing should have been something to show people that. Charlie Kirk, and may he rest in peace, because I still don't think that man should have been killed and shot down like that. But it wasn't a black person that did that to him. That's what they should be looking at. And, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, but he did talk about black on black crime and them doing all this, but you never thought about the white on white crime and them people getting out and doing that kind of stuff too, and that there's a history of that too. So it's like, once again, I would advise black people to focus on black people and how we need to make changes and do better for ourselves. And if you helping in the community and doing these things, I think that's great. And I think they need to focus on their communities and what they need to do to change too, because there's a lot of going wrong over there too, in all these communities. So, that's the part that I be trying to say and trying to, understand and why the focus is always on what we do by others and not on what they do. It's almost as if they excuse their nature and their craziness, or the crazy people in their communities, and focus all on us. And I think we all need to focus on what's going on in our own communities so that we all can do better, because we all got some shit going on. You know what I mean? Nobody's exempt and nobody's perfect. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to stop talking. I done said enough. I'm not going to go on this. I just want to get my little, let you, put it out there that the Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder in this whole situation, y'all. So now they're going to have to, they're going to see I guess we got to wait to see how much time they give him or whatever, but he was found guilty of murder. And it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing else we can really say about it, I hope there's no riots and all this stuff. You don't need to be doing all that. It is what it is. I mean, that's not going to change anything. So what's the point? Don't go out here and, all I can say is just be careful out in these streets. Like I always say, be careful out in these streets, y'all. Protect yourself as best you can. And that's it. You can't really, you can't even really do anything else, I'm sure an appeal will be filed. I hope Karmelo appeals and gets a retrial with the competent defense team. What happened with the defense team, by the way? Child, it's over. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about it again, because we just be beating a dead horse at this point. Ain't nobody can do nothing about it. It is what it is. Sub Pump. Interesting name. Thank you for the super chat. Says Sheba dog in samurai armor holding a golden trophy. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Sub Pump. Thank you for the super chat. White people lead in all areas of crime in this country. I've been saying that too, Russell. But they don't act like it. There are plenty of sundown towns remaining. Exactly. But people, I don't know why. Exactly. Check out Benny Johnson response. It'll be a good reaction to this racist, extremely biased take. The defense team are probably plants. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, what happened? Didn't they raise $600K? That's crazy. Wow. You should be Karmelo's lawyer. It's too late, child. He going to jail. It's too late. He going to jail. His defense was horrible. They literally put witnesses on the stand that contradicted his defense argument. Jesus Christ. They said that Tasha K had bad lawyers when Cardi B was suing her. But goddamn, why would you think you would? The defense team failed the brother. Child, I sent you the graduation link, DeeDee. Even if you know the person or persons, they may still pull a rabbit out of their hat, and that you never knew that they had, on top of that the Bible says in the commandments, thou shalt not kill. Gotcha, Richard. The world, obviously, there's more than enough evidence to support it follows the Black American. If the Black American changes direction, okay, I didn't get to see all that. Raise all that money to spend on themselves. Child, Lord have mercy. when Chud the Builder can go on areas and be safer than I could with an afro and that is still supporting this system. Okay. Baby, this is crazy. But anyway, y'all, it is what it is. Listen, I'm pretty sure people are going to be still talking about this. People are still going to giving their 2 cents on it because the verdict was read not too long ago. People, of course, going to still have their opinions about it or whatever. And it is. And everybody has a right to their opinion. I always say that. I love to see people's opinions. Everybody, are not going to have the same opinions and agree. But, because you have a right to have an opinion of what you believe, what your take on something is based on your views and your thoughts and your beliefs. I mean, that's everybody's right to have an opinion. I'm here for it. I think everybody should be able to have their say, whether you agree or not. And that's a part of being able to have free speech, which we don't know how free it is, but you do have a right to have an opinion about what you see and what's going on and what's happening around you. It is what it is. I mean, your opinion doesn't really affect what happens unless you have some type of power or if you're in some type of position to make the rules and change certain laws or whatever. Most people don't have the power to do that. All you have is your opinion and your views or whatever. But it does kind of, I guess if you will, shape how people view others and what they think about them. And it helps to create certain biases against people or thoughts or stereotypes against people. People just start putting everybody in this box of what they think they are. And I think that's the dangerous part of it. I think you should, treat people on an individual basis. If you come across somebody and they're a shitty person, then that person is a shitty person. It shouldn't have anything to do with whether you're black, white, Indian, purple, blue, red. It's about, oh, that person's a shitty person. So let me move away from that person. I'm not going to put everybody in one box and say, oh, this is what they do. Like they be saying in these comments on certain things, or the usual suspects. We could say that about any group because there are certain things that every group is, have done that is questionable. But does that mean that everybody in that group is questionable? No. Because like I said, I know a lot of good people in different races. Everybody ain't bad, but somehow you think that when it comes to black people, is almost looked at in that way. Like, oh, the usual suspects, or this is what they all do, when all of us don't go out here committing crimes and doing these things and have never committed crimes and never, done certain things. But we're and people be honest about it, we're looked at like that, and you've gone into a store and you got money to spend in there, but they following you around looking at you while somebody else who they're not paying attention to is running out with shit. We've seen that happen too. And then they don't even go behind them. They don't chase them. You go in certain stores, I mean, they got stuff locked up because, yeah, there are people who steal, but the assumption is always the black people stealing. I see there's many cases of white people stealing. And they get away with it because they're not targeted. If we really gonna be honest, y'all, they're not looked at. I'll never forget. And I mean, I got real life stories. They're not looked at. They're not the targets, and they getting away. Literally, will get away with murder. Literally, because they're not the targets. They're not the ones that looked at as people who commit crimes when they do. And I'm not saying they're the only ones. People commit crimes in all groups, but they're not targeted. And then when you pull up all these videos and you see, or you in the store and you see these white girls are cuffed and arrested and sitting on the side, everybody looking like, well, damn. But it's always the niggas who looked at us, oh, this is what they do. Like nobody else steals, nobody else robs. When you look at the crime statistics, the biggest welfare queens, the biggest thieves, the biggest pedophiles, and all of it. But it's like what y'all call it? Would that be considered like a bait and switch? Oh, let's switch it up. Let's make it look like these are the worst of all everything, and take the heat off of us, and let's put it on them so nobody ever look at what we're doing, while we can go and get away with everything because they're not looking at us. I'll never forget. I saw this man ram this lady's car because she was driving a BMW or a Mercedes, something, I don't know. She was driving a nice car, and he was like, why is a nigga running around with a car like that? Why does she have a nice car like that? Hits this woman car. She's a nurse on her way to work. Ain't bothering nobody. He hits her car, tries to run her off the road because he don't like that she's black and driving a nice car. Well, all of her stuff is legit. She has a license. She has insurance. Car is registered. She good. Then check him messing with her. Everything expired. This nigga had a warrant out for his arrest. He got all kinds of stuff. They had to arrest him. And that's just an example. He had none of his stuff legit on his car. They had to arrest him. He's messing with her because you wondering why a black person driving a nice car, and here you sitting here and you can't even register your vehicle. You don't have no insurance. You don't have shit. And they had to arrest him. This is what I'm saying. Be messing with people and then be in the wrong. Is this everybody? No. But a lot of it exists on all sides. So we got to stop being these, just prejudging everybody and putting everybody in one box. Because I certainly wouldn't do that because I know better. And I know that there are good white people just like there's some nasty ones. Good black people and there's some horrid black ones. There's some good Indians and bad ones. There's some good Asians in every group. They don't, to walk around and just act like one is better than the other is just insane to me. But I wish more people would understand that and just stop trying to put everybody in one box and just making it sound like, oh, this is your MO, this is what y'all do. When the numbers say there's a higher percentage over there. That's all. But I guess maybe that's too logical thinking of me for me to not be racist and look at everybody as just people. And call you out for for what you do and not because you black or white or green or Asian or any. No, call you out for what you do. It ain't got nothing to do with your color. And I'm not going to put everybody in that box and say everybody like that because I know it's not the case. I know it's not the case, but it is what it is. Everybody ain't going to think that way, But anyway, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this video. I appreciate y'all for being here. Listen, as we wrap this up, make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out. Also, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed but you like the content that's posted, make sure you subscribe. It's free to subscribe, y'all. Shout out to everybody who gave super chats or cash apps to support the channel. I appreciate that so much. So we got the verdict, y'all. Is out. Who said, let's see. So true, DeeDee. I live in West Virginia and it's the top state for meth addiction, and yet blacks are looked at harsh still sometimes. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy. What I wanted to say, I forgot who was that sent me the video. Maybe I'm gonna have to react to the video. I think Successful MD. I think that's who sent me the video. Maybe I'll do a reaction to it, or maybe I'll pull it up in another live. I'm gonna go look at it. Where did you send the video to? Did you email it to me, or you send it to where did you send it? Shout out to Russell Richardson as well for the Cash App. I appreciate you, bro, for supporting the channel. Shout out to you. Where did you, I'm gonna look to see if, where you sent the video, and I guess I either put it in a video or I'll just do another live on it. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, but I gotta get out of here. Thank y'all once again for being here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe out here in these streets. What else I wanted to say? Make sure you're watching the videos. Ooh, my ear. Make sure you watch the videos on the channel, y'all. Go over and like the video, leave a comment. Just to let me know it's real. Make sure you continuously support in that way. I'll try to be back with another live really, really soon, y'all. Back to usual programming per usual. But yeah, I appreciate y'all opinion. I appreciate what y'all had to say. Listen, it is what it is, y'all. All I can say is just protect yourself. Be careful out in these streets like I normally tell y'all. Listen, protect your family, protect yourself at all costs. And that's it. Just like any other person would tell a person to do. Just protect yourself and just be careful. That's it. But this was what it was. It is what it is, y'all. But thank y'all once again for being here. I appreciate y'all once more. Shout out to everybody in the building, everybody that's watching. Once again, comment, like, subscribe, you guys. Hit the like button on your way out. And yeah, I will see y'all in the next one. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more, y'all. Stay tuned for more. And I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah. I'll see y'all later. Bye.
It's DeeDee's Reactions. It's DeeDee's Reactions. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like, share, subscribe. You know it's a vibe. Like, share, subscribe. 'Cause you know it's a vibe. It's DeeDee's Reactions. Tell a friend, it's DeeDee's Reactions. It's DeeDee's Reactions. DeeDee's Reactions. Later.